I'm Amy Melling, and I'm a third-year pharmacy student at the University of South Carolina. Well, I got involved with firedUP through Startup Weekend when I realized there was just a really big need for increased patient access to their healthcare provider. Out of that weekend, I came out with a minimally viable product for the independent pharmacy market, and kind of had some highs and lows since then, and entered the firedUP program feeling like I didn't need to be here because I didn't have a product. I don't have a working widget that I can show you. It's a concept, and it's a concept that I really wanted to take a lot of time to develop, so I wondered if I really needed to be here, if this was the place for me, or if this was a place for established companies. But during my first week here, I, for lack of a better term, feel really fired up about my business concept, because what it's helped me to realize is that I do have a good concept, and that I'm doing the right thing by going through the curriculum, really identifying and studying who my target market is, who my ideal customer is, and what they really need. So I went from coming in my very first day just feeling like, oh gosh, I don't need to be here, to completely committed to my concept and developing it, because I know now I do have a market for it, and I'm doing the right thing being here and doing the work. Fear. I think it's scary to do something and step outside your comfort zone. You know, developing a startup isn't anything that they teach you in pharmacy school, that's for sure. So fear, I'd say excitement too. To be a really good communicator. I think if you want to create something that's going to speak to the masses, you really need to communicate with your potential customers out there and find out what makes them tick, what makes them smile, what makes them keep wanting to come back for more. That's the big takeaway. And that's also been part of the fear of picking up the phone and cold calling someone who could be a potential customer. It's hard to do that. It's hard to start those conversations, but with practice and doing it over and over again, it's gotten surprisingly easier, and in fact almost like contagious not to have those conversations because you're so excited about your product. I think, gosh, I mean, all the teams, it's we're like a family, and from day one it's really been like that. I want to come out of this experiment successful, but I really am fighting for all of my teammates. They all are so creative and so fun, and have so really good ideas. I'd say probably one of the highlights so far out of just 1 week, and gosh, 1 week feels like a month, so much has happened, but we got to go on a tour of Columbia. And I live here, I live in West Columbia, and learn about some of the changing business landscape downtown, that as a Columbia citizen, I knew nothing about the hard work that was going into the urban development that has happened and is currently happening. That was really awesome. Within the 6 months, I wanted to really develop my minimally viable product into a prototype that can be tested at independent pharmacies, really kind of vetted out and developed further. And while I thought that was going to be a goal that might be a little bit adventurous for someone who doesn't have a product, the fact that with the customers that I've already contacted, they already want to see this and use it and test it and be the first ones that can say that they've used something like this. So that just really lights the fire underneath me that much more to stay committed to the task and the process and get my prototype. So I'm really glad that I put one foot in front of the other and made my way here.